Hey everybody, I haven't really done an FPS video with commentary in some time, but this game really lends itself to it, I think, so let me walk you through this game on the big field at Cousins Paintball Staten Island from 11-16-13. This game was about a 20-on-20, and regardless of the number of players on this field, you can pretty much make the 50 off the break without a problem, so that's what I tried to do and succeeded in doing here.
Left! Right
Just a
here!
note on camera placement, my camera is obviously on the right side of my mask. You can see a bit of my lens on the left. So unfortunately for this part of the game where I'm shooting out to my left, you can't actually see what I'm shooting at because the camera remains behind the bunker. Now, I'm pinned in here pretty tightly. There are actually two players out to my left, one fairly close and one out along the tape line. But in that shot right there, I actually did hit the hopper of the player out along the tape line, leaving the one closer to me in the game. This was a bit of a theme for this part of the game. While I'm in the 50 here, I just bounced a paintball off the elbow of the remaining opposing player out by the opposing 50, and a little later on, he will bounce one off of my elbow. Out to my right, there are at least two, possibly three players that have an angle on me if I stick out a little bit. You can see one of them saw me right there. So I'm really pinched in pretty tight right here and don't have an opportunity to really step back and play this bunker more loosely there. I just took that bounce off my elbow from the left when I was paying attention to the guys on the right. So at this point I realized that I really can't stay here for the whole game. I'm going to need to move if I'm going to make anything happen because I'm just pinned too tightly in here. After I take a second bounce, actually off the top of my head, I decide to switch sides in the 50 and move over to the right side of the bunker. The aim here is to give me more protection from my right while giving me maybe a better angle on the guy in my left. Unfortunately, this move leaves me exposed to a guy way out to my right. I trade a bit of paint with this guy out to the right and then decide I need to drop back because the angles at the center are just not working for me. This first bunker I pick is way too low to be useful and also has kind of holes in it between these rocks. So after just a second or two, I get back up and run a little bit more to more solid cover and grab a tube to reload on the way. I actually stay in this spot for quite a while, and not a whole lot happens during these minutes of the game, so I'll cut most of it out, but basically I have to stay here for a little while to figure out exactly where everyone is, because obviously I wasn't paying all that close attention to opposing players while I was running around like an idiot. So now the player I was trading paint with out to the left is now up to our 50 all the way out on the far left tape line. There are also a number of opposing players in front of me closer to the right tape line between the 50 and their 30 or so. As far as friendly players go, we have one at the left tape line at about our 30 or 35, pretty close to where you can see the ref out there on the left. And there's also a friendly player behind me and to my right at that little water tank kind of thing just off screen to the right there, and there may be more friendly players behind him. But for the most part, it's me, the player behind me, the player out to the left, and not a whole lot else remaining on the field at this point. At one point here, two opposing players move up simultaneously in my front now, kind of on the right side of the field. One of them, the one to the right, gets behind cover, but the other remains in the open, and I'm able to eliminate him. Now back out to the left. The opposing player that was at the 50 out all the way to our left actually moves up onto our side of the field, so I drop back all the way around to our back left corner to counter that move. Now on this side of the field, there's myself and that friendly player in the blue just in front of me, facing an opponent at about our 40 or so, and a second opponent in the center 50 on the opposite side of where I started the game. Now this is some really bad timing as far as reloading goes. While I'm grabbing a tube, the opposing player from the 45 runs up and actually gets a surrender on the player just in front of me. Now, we trade a few shots, but given the lay of the land and how this game is going, at the end of the day, that's a losing strategy for me. Even if I get him, there are too many other players on the field to worry about, so I can't really waste time here. The key is to be a little unpredictable, so instead of having a normal snap shooting duel, I decide to do this instead.
Surrender! Surrender!
Either he didn't hear me ask for the surrender, or I didn't hear him respond, or he didn't respond, but at the end of the day, the outcome is the same. I'm now back up in that spot, and the opposing player is eliminated. My position now is still not exactly favorable. My opponent is up on a little hill behind a nice solid, basically what's a section of fence, while I'm stuck on a lower part of the field behind this pile of branches that is clearly full of holes. My plan now is to move up along the left tape line to the friendly 45 or about the 50 maybe to get a better angle on this guy in the 50. However, before I do that, of course, I need to reload. You should never move with a mostly empty feed tube. And while I'm doing that, this happens.
Nice move! Nice move!
That would be the opponent moving from the 50 into the bunker I wanted to move to as soon as I finished reloading. And now I'll just let this duel play out. Enjoy.
Feed tube, nice shot, nice shot.
And with a very nice shot, he
Hopper,
tags me
you hit the
right on the
hopper.
front of my feed tube. So yes, I take hopper hits even with that tiny little hopper. So that's the game, ladies and gentlemen. It takes a few minutes for everyone to realize it, but it turns out I was the last remaining player on my side. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.
How many are left?
I think that's it.